Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. Today I'm really excited because this is the second weekly progress report. That is what I'm temporarily calling it, but that's sort of my weekly wrap up that I've been doing. I'm going to try and get these out every Monday. Originally I wanted to release them on Saturdays, but I don't know. The weekend is when I get a lot of reading done, so it feels better to do it on Monday. And so what did I do? So I will not have any spoilers about anything I talk about, any movies, books, whatever. But the first book that I read is actually a holdover from June. And I read this in about 2 weeks, and it is book 5 of Dune. This is Heretics of Dune. I got this from my used bookstore, pretty cheap, $5. Really happy with that price. But I loved God Emperor of Dune. That's a very controversial book when it comes to readers. A lot of people that I know who I've talked to, they do not like book 4. I loved it. If you want to know more about my feelings about that book, please look at my review because I just went on so long about it. I just really love that book. And this book is sort of back to how book 1 and 2 felt like for me, where it was a lot more action heavy. There was a lot more changes in setting. We had really fun sort of events happening. I'm trying not to go into spoilers here, but I really, really enjoyed seeing how the world has progressed in this book. But I do not like the characters in this book. Is sort of my only thing that I do not like about this book. Everything else I thought was fantastic. I really enjoyed the character of Teg specifically, but I also enjoyed seeing Duncan Idaho again. I think book 4 is my favorite, iteration of Duncan Idaho, but this one was pretty interesting as well. I wouldn't say he's anywhere close to as interesting as the version that we see of him in book 4. But book 5, I think, being set on the 3 planets of Ix, Gamu, that is previously known as Giedi Prime, which is where all the Harkonnens were from, and also the third final planet, Arrakis. I really enjoyed having these 3 planets being the main setting of this book, because Ix is a planet that I have been so interested in for so long, since book 1, but especially once they became more relevant in book 2 and definitely book 3. And then what happens in book 4, I think that book is basically an Ixian book. But I really enjoyed the world building in this book. And I think it continues the fascination that Frank Herbert had towards sort of cause and effect is sort of the best way that I can think of it, because every single thing that happens within the Dune universe has an effect on the future. And I really enjoy seeing how that sort of happens and shows itself throughout the story. But the ending I thought was really lackluster, in my opinion. I was really disappointed by what happens. So I think if you're reading the Dune series and you love book 1, I don't know if I'd recommend reading up to book 5. Because I think book 3 is such a hurdle to get over. But I think book 4 is worth it. I love book 4. Book 5, I think, is like an 8 out of 10 for me. It's great, but the characters, as I said, is just really lacking, in my opinion. And I did not like reading any of them. I didn't like following the thought processes. I didn't like spending time with them. The Bene Gesserit in this book, I think, was fascinating, and also the group called the Lost or something like that. They're sort of like a underground Bene Gesserit that's been hiding. That's really the only thing I'll talk about with this book, but I thought that group was really cool, but there was like no time spent on them. And I was really disappointed by that. So that's why I ended up being an 8 out of 10. It's not my favorite book. It's not the least favorite that I have. I think book 2, I had a more rough time to read than this book, but I really enjoyed this one. And just for the weekly progress report, what I'm reading right now, I'm about halfway done with Robin Hobb's Dragonhaven, which is book 2 of the Rainwild Chronicles. The first 100 pages, I will say, I enjoyed a lot. But where we are now, I'm on 215. I do not really. I have the same issues that I have with this book that I had with the last book, which is that very few of the characters I have any investment in. I feel like Robin Hobb is taking a lot more time than needed to sort of tell the story of what's happening, because this book and the previous book could easily have been one book, in my opinion, especially when looking at her other series within Realm of the Outerlings, because Life Ship Traders is my favorite trilogy within Realm of the Outerlings. And I really loved sort of how every chapter was like this big, just constant plot progression. And I love that. I love that part of Robin Hobb's writing, and that is gone in this book. I am enjoying spending time with the dragons, as I always do. But outside of that, there's really not that much I like about this book. I'm enjoying it for the most part. It's really hard to read. It's hard to motivate myself to read. So in the meantime, on audiobook, I have been listening to Danny Trejo's autobiography, which I've been really enjoying. I'm about 4 or 5 chapters in. We're about when he's in his 20s and he's running the jail, or at least his side of the jail, and he's talking about how he sort of took in all these new inmates and sort of became like the older brother to them and protected them. And I really enjoy hearing sort of the life story of Danny Trejo, because he is an actor who I've always admired and always had a lot of fun sort of tracking his movies and all the roles that he has been, such as in Breaking Bad as Tortuga, and then Machete and Uncle Machete and Spy Kids. I really love him in that. There's just a lot of great movies with him. And so it's really nice to be reading this autobiography and being like, wow, this is like, I'm learning so much about him, because I knew he had been in jail and he'd been in and out of jail and prison, and I didn't really know the specifics about it. And who better to hear it than the guy himself? So I've been really enjoying that audiobook, and especially with him narrating it, he's narrating his own story, which I think gives me an extra layer of appreciation when I'm listening to it, because it is so fun to get his voice and for him to laugh, in response to some of the stories that he's talking about, sort of getting really serious when he's talking about a section of the book that, he had a lot of hardship when he was growing up, so you kind of hear that in his voice. And I really appreciate him taking the time to record the audiobook, because not everyone does that. And so I'm really excited to continue on with that. I don't know how far I am percentage-wise, but I'm about 5 chapters in. I just listen to it while I'm driving or just wandering around the apartment. But, okay, so I almost forgot. So I actually did finish Zoe last week, the Zoe arc. I think I already talked about that. But I'm almost done with Whole Cake Island in one piece. And oh my god. I am loving this arc, but I'm about halfway done now, or I'm at episode 31 out of 39, actually. I've actually watched the last, 16 episodes in, a few days. But, I loved the first half of it, I'll be honest. I loved it all the way up to, episode 25, I want to say. But I feel like the pacing has just really slogged the last few episodes. And I will definitely get more into this when I do my review about Whole Cake Island. But I just do not care about some of the characters in this arc so much. And there was one character that Oda has decided to kill off, who I really, really loved. And I was really looking forward to more with this character. And Oda was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna kill him. And I was texting a few of my friends about this event, and I was really bent up about it because a lot of the deaths in the series have hit really, really well for me. And I feel like Whole Cake Island, with the character that was killed, I did not appreciate it whatsoever. And especially because it ended up not even mattering in the end. And I will get more into detail with it, but that's sort of what's going through my head right now. I loved, just absolutely loved, like the first 25 episodes of it. I thought it was just 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, maybe at the lowest, but I don't know. So yeah, sort of the last thing that I've done this past week is a movie related thing, which is Dario Argento's Deep Cuts, which is a Severin Films release. I haven't really bought anything from any of these companies in a very long time because I was saving money for Dragonsteel for that convention in December, and then I lost my job, so I haven't really bought any movies in a very long time, but this was one of the last movies, or at least releases, that I got. And this one is all about Dario Argento's TV episodes that he directed and hosted, sort of like a horror movie host, like Svengoolie or oh my gosh, Joe Bob Briggs. Like, it is really fun to watch these. But I had a lot of issues watching the actual TV episodes because they are so tropey and very stuck in the time. I don't know how to describe it. Deeply, deep cups, or deep cuts, not cups. But I think this is more like a really fascinating thing to just own as a very big fan of Dario Argento, and it also comes with the documentary Doors into Darkness, or Master of Horror, and also My Cinema, which I watched both of those now. And I think those were a lot more worth my money. The TV episodes, I think, are a lot more fun to watch, but I don't really see myself ever thinking about them. I don't think they were that interesting. There was a lot of really fun collaborators he worked with, like Luigi Cassi, and also try and find his name. Lamberto Bava is also on this release. So it was really cool. I went through both of the episodes, the tram, and also the neighbor, I believe is the second one. But I thought they were just fine. But I think this release as a whole is phenomenal because there's a lot of info about Dario Argento that I didn't really know about. And there's a lot of really fun sort of moments in the documentaries that I'd never seen before. A lot of behind-the-scenes footage of opera, Phantom of the Opera, Tenebrae, a little bit of Trauma, which is actually my least favorite Argento movie for a lot of reasons. I actually do have a review about that movie on my channel, but it's been so long since I've uploaded it, so you'd have to really go digging. I'm not going to link it. I'm not going to try and find it. I have so many videos that I've made. But I really enjoy the work that Severin does. I have a lot of the releases over my shoulder, and I'm really glad that I can still enjoy more new Dario Argento works, because I had no idea he ever did a TV show, and I thought that was really fascinating. It was in the 70s, so that was during his golden age, I call it. And I thought it was just wonderful. It was just fun to just take an afternoon and just watch the 2 episodes and then the documentaries and all that. So I think that's it for today on the progress report. I am going to continue the Robin Hobb book, but I want to get into Hunger of the Gods next, is sort of my goal. So that's what I'm going to start, I think, Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever I finish the Robin Hobb book. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.